Hello again. 20. Which seems like a good place to recap a little and reassess what we've been going through so far, or what I've been going through so far. Right hand playing. So far I've just talked about strums and our basic arpeggio patterns and getting your right hand fingers, in other words, the engine of your playing, the motor behind everything, right hand. Then I've started to explain some chords, and starting from E minor and then A minor, D, G, C and B7. Now that's a huge amount of work already. You're not going to get this in the time it's taken me to make these videos. So you just keep working on those chords, and when you're ready, tune back in for this. So number 20. Well, one of the things that you'll have seen already is, that's right, that's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so one of the things that you'll have seen already is that we've played an E minor chord and an A minor chord, and E was our bass note. Let's talk about the string names again. E, A, D, G, B, E. So we've got now a chord for each of those strings. An E minor chord. Chords are named from their root note. An E minor chord, it doesn't matter where I play it, any number of ways of playing an E minor chord. We've started with a basic shape, and we'll play it elsewhere. Any of those chords can be played in numerous within the physical capabilities of that you have. You can play any chord and just about anywhere. We're a bit limited on the guitar in some ways. Fingering is a bigger problem than for, say, a pianist. A pianist can play a chord with all 5 fingers, and in fact play even more notes than 10 notes in a chord if need be. But for guitar player, you're really stripped. I think you're really stripped to the essentials of an instrument, and I think that's a really useful way to start. You can explore all the advanced possibilities of the instrument in due course, but to begin with, just work on, as I've said and I keep saying, just work on basic, simple ideas. The stronger the foundation. For a drummer, it's inner core playing. The stronger your foundation, for a drummer, it's about timekeeping. Before, it doesn't matter, just ba 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 ba. That's the inner core, developing your timekeeping. Then you learn to hit the drums and develop some sort of coordination. And this is the same with the guitar. It's about coordination between the right hand and the left, and building into yourself. And then if you can sing as well, then you've got a small unit that you can start to develop. I want to give a shout out here to, as usual, to my favourite drummers, and I'm not going to name them again now, and but also to Neil MacDonald, one of my best friends and one of the great musicians that I've met in my time, and he's available to teach. So do look up Neil MacDonald. Neil, try and find him online. You might find him on Facebook. Look around for him. He's a really experienced, great player and a great guy. So go to him. There are plenty of other online resources. Every now and then you see I'm touching the phone. I just saw that Rick Beato has just put out another video. He does them like every day. Same with Marty Guitar. That guy, they both work so hard online at presentation. I'm not really that interested in presentation myself, as you can probably tell. But those guys, Marty Guitar, and it's just, he works so hard at what he does, and he's a really good online resource. Beautiful. Loves what he does. So, what am I talking about here? 7 minutes in. I think when you start playing this new skill that you're picking up, your new talent that you're trying to learn, to begin with, it's all foreign, it's all unknown territory. It's very difficult to understand where you might be going with it. But just keep playing. And at some point you'll become a guitar player. I find this with students all the time, that there comes a point when they transform. It's almost identifiable by the second, by the moment that it happens, where I say to them, you're not a guitarist. Well, we're always students of what we do. We're always learning new things. We're always learning. There's no end to that. But I do find there's a point with students where I say to them, you're not just learning anymore, you are a guitar player now. You've got to a point where you're playing guitar. And I think that point is always about the right hand, rhythm. And the other thing is listening, the ability, being able to listen to what you're being told and what you're being taught, and and more importantly, to the sound, the actual getting to understand, intimately understand the nature of sound, listening. I'd like to also make a mention to Jimmy Clark. There again, great presentation and a musician unlike just about anyone I know. Beautiful player, great man, a gentleman, and a super funny and great player. He really knows. He knows a lot. So that's something else with 10 minutes. I'm just going to wrap up very quickly. Maybe that's something else I should say at this point in number 20 is, as a guitar player, when you start playing, you'll start to hear music differently. The more you play, you'll start to hear music in a different way. And my point here is that don't just listen to guitar players if you're learning guitar. Just like if you're a bass player. A bass player who just listens to bass, you're not listening. Listen to everything. Listen to all different musics. Even if you don't really like it. That sounds crazy. You're always going to, of course, you're always going to be attracted to the things that you like. But listen to other instrumentalists. If you're a guitar player, listen to saxophone players. Listen to piano players. Listen to bass players. Listen to what drummers do. Listen to what singers do. Because they're all just the same. They're all parts of this incredible, this phenomenon that we call music. And that you'll learn, I think you learn more from other instruments, or as much from other instruments as you do from listening to your other players of your own chosen instrument. Listen to French horn players, or recorder players, or clarinet players, or sitar players, or dulcimer players, flute players. Without exception, all the musicians I know who I truly respect play more than one instrument, and they would never value their instrument over another. I can't think of any musician that is just completely focused on one. They have an understanding of other instruments. Think about someone like Bach. Well, the organ and the clavier, very similar. The keyboard arrangement's the same, different sound, different technology. But he played an early form of the guitar, and he would have played the violin. Mozart, violin, piano, and violin. Completely understood the two instruments, and I'm sure he had a cello kicking around, and he probably had a double bass, a contrabass, and all of those instruments, they all join into you and inform your musicality. I think I'm going to finish there. 21, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to give a thought to what I'm going to talk about next. Have a good evening. Thank you.